Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to the real Skid Row, a homeless encampment in downtown LA. Now, I've heard that the homeless situation in Los Angeles is really bad, but whenever I think of it, I frame it based on what I've seen here in the UK, which is if you walk down a street, you might see one or two homeless people, maybe, and if you go into like central London, you might see maybe 3 or 4 per street. But apparently there's like entire sort of shanty towns full of homeless people, in which is probably the most, expensive, highly regarded city in America. Like LA, it's like Hollywood, right? I would expect, I wouldn't expect to see a town full of like tents and stuff, so I can't really believe it. So this video here has been recommended quite a few times, and it's got quite a lot of views. The feedback's pretty good, which means that it must be true. Like the information shared must be real. So I'm quite eager to see what this is all about. So let's do it.
I love you, LA! Welcome to beautiful Los Angeles, California. This is basically what you see when you watch it in the movies.
But as soon as you go on the freeway ramp,
that's a lot of trash. Whoa.
I love those freeway signs. This is America to me.
What?
boy, if you get off the freeway ramp, it looks already totally different.
Oh my God.
Welcome to the original Skid Row in downtown Los Angeles, better known as Central City East.
There are approximately 6,000 homeless people on Skid Row currently.
6,000? That's like a village.
And it spreads over 54 blocks.
Believe me, you don't really want to walk around here. They do have shelters down here, which provide food for everybody here.
They really try to help those people.
This is insane. Like,
if you look towards your left, that's like a little area. It's called like the Mission, where people can get free food and they can hang out right there and they get some help.
this is crazy.
And then when you go around the corner here, see this building on the left, you see where the gates are, like the rolling up gates. This is where Michael Jackson was dancing in Beat It. That's where they filmed that music video. Remember? And then a little bit towards the right, that's the original Hard Rock Cafe. That's where Jim Morrison and the whole Doors took like a
and there's people just like sitting
right
out
here.
there.
See this building? And back then it was already Skid Row.
What the hell is
then
going
when you
on?
look towards your right, you see this original building they used for the movie Ghostbusters. Only the interior shots though.
Skid Row has the largest concentration of homeless people in the entire United States.
But why is this like
Hollywood is only a few
why is this allowed? Because surely couldn't the government do something about this? Because like you're gonna drive down the desire to live in a place like this. If you're spending $1 million plus on a property, you don't really want to have to look out the window and see, thousands of homeless people. Like, I know it sounds a bit insensitive, but that's probably the reality for a lot of people.
miles from downtown. The glitz and the glamour. They filmed hundreds and hundreds of movies down here in Los Angeles downtown, but you really never get to see what's going on the side street here. Every time they do a movie, everything is being cleaned up. So you're basically not going to get to see all this.
Whoa, look at this. Tents everywhere you look. Just tents. Isn't this illegal?
This is the real downtown you see right there, the US Bank building. Down the street here, they have the toy district and the fashion district. I've been here many times, and as soon as I pass through, I see what's going on here. But 2 miles further down, I already forget what I saw. And this is, most of the people in Los Angeles don't even get to see all this here. And if they do, right away you forget about it. You don't want to see all this.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
How it is right here in Los Angeles. People just laying on the street like this man right here.
just laying on the street. I thought LA was meant to be like, you know, California had the highest GDP in the whole of the US. Where's all the tax money going? Can't they create some really, really cheap, really, really affordable, subsidized housing to get these people off the streets so they can, you know, then get jobs and things like that? I don't get it.
From the distance, when you see Los Angeles city line, it looks like paradise, but there's a huge gap between the rich and the poor. And just a few miles away from here, Beverly Hills, life is totally different. And as we know, Los Angeles is one of the most progressive cities in the world. Free food, giveaways.
Wow, man, this is just...
They call LA the City of Angels. Skid Row was already around in the 1930s, but it really was established by the city in 1976, where shelters and services for homeless would be tolerated.
The size of these tents is just blowing my mind. It's like this is a huge ass tent. It must be taking up a lot of the sidewalk. Or would you just not go to this area? If you were a tourist, you would just not go here, right?
And ever since, the crime and the homeless population started rising until today. And Governor Newsom said that he spent $100 million helping the homeless.
But where did the money go?
You see those tents miles and miles on the street.
She's just standing in the road.
In the middle of the street.
I mean, this is a danger to motorists and herself. Where are the police? Why can't they get her out?
Around here, it really feels like you're on a different planet.
Hygiene is a really big problem here in Skid Row. They don't have to only worry about COVID, they also have to worry about tuberculosis outbreaks, hepatitis, or typhus.
And STIs.
Some of those places are rats infested. And look at the people. They just sit down on the street right here. Some of them just put a mattress down and sleep in the middle of the way.
This is insane. Because I mean, he said that $100 million was spent, right? Couldn't you just build two massive sort of apartment blocks with really tiny apartments, really, really small, like a bedroom pretty much, right? And you put each homeless person in there, because at least you get them off the street. $100 million, where did the money go?
People starve and give them food. This is absolutely heartbreaking when you see something like this.
Even if I wouldn't have told you about all this, you would not believe it. You have to actually see it to believe what's going on.
Wow.
While I was filming this, I saw lots of people in their cars driving by and offer the homeless people food and drinks. So there are people, they care about the homeless in Los Angeles. But how can you actually stop all this? Where do you start? How do you start changing everything?
Give them a residence. You know, because you can't get a job without a residence, can you? Give them a temporary residence for, say, 6 months in a tiny, tiny apartment the size of a small bedroom. At least they've got an address that they can then get a bank account. I don't know.
And you probably asking yourself, German in Venice, why are you filming all this sad stuff? I mean, I just document all this and hopefully something good can come out of this.
This is the reality.
Maybe somebody sees it and gets inspired. Maybe somebody helps a homeless person because of this video. I really don't know. I had family members writing me from the last couple of videos I did about interviewing the homeless people. They saw their relative, their cousin on my video and they contacted me and thanked me so much. They didn't know where he was. So something good came out of this. And I'm also hoping something good will come out of this.
The entire sidewalk.
All those tents here on the sidewalk, they look worse than a refugee camp.
So this is in Los Angeles, right? How far is this from Hollywood and Beverly Hills? Is it quite far away, or is it really close? Because why is the property value in LA so high? I'm sorry, like if I'm paying $5 million, $10 million for a house and this is in walking distance, I don't think I'd want to live there.
See, right here on the corner, people give out food and drinks. There's a lot of people eating out of the trash cans.
So sad.
The big business close to Skid Row protect their property with barbed wire. Who knows what happened here, if somebody got hurt or not. A burnt RV right on the sidewalk.
Must have been in a fire.
They used to say when you see shoes hanging over the electrical wire, that's the place where they sell drugs. But I don't think that's true anymore. You can buy drugs anywhere down the street here. And look at all the tents on the sidewalk. How are you supposed to walk on this sidewalk here? There's no way.
Impossible. It's not possible. You have to drive, I guess.
This guy was pretty inventive. He just connected a hose to the fire hydrant.
This is
Of course, a
insane.
huge percentage of the people here on Skid Row use drugs, but there's a lot of mentally disturbed people. When I'm driving my car here, some people are in the middle of the street, I hit my hood. I mean, it's kind of dangerous. And when they saw me filming, I have people throwing stuff at me. It is really not a safe area, especially when you film. Despite all the bad stuff you see, when you see this downtown skyline, it makes me feel really good. I love downtown Los Angeles.
But that's not enough.
I know people that live in Los Angeles for 30 years or even longer. They've never been down to Skid Row. I mean, we all have problems, but when you drive by Skid Row and see all those tents and all the homeless people, you really feel good about your situation. And you just think, hopefully this will never happen to me. How can you get out of this situation? It's already hard for yourself getting up in the morning. You have things to do. Those people really have nothing to do.
I think the hardest part would be getting them off the drugs. Like, if you could find the people that live on Skid Row that are clean, or they really have a desire to get off the drugs, I think those are the people you can really help turn their lives around. You know, just get them off the streets, like, you know, get them into some kind of accommodation.
They don't even have a place where they can shower. They don't really have a place where they can go to the restroom. Lots of people use buckets and then at the end of the night they throw it on the street.
Oh my God.
I mean, you see all this, but you cannot smell how bad it smells everywhere here. When you get out of the car, even in the car, you can smell it.
Nah, that's gross.
What I couldn't really understand is most of the homeless people that walk around in downtown, they don't even wear a mask. And then you think, all those people are so close to each other, COVID would spread like crazy and people would die like flies, but this is not the case. I don't really know. I don't have any information if there's a lot of homeless people in hospitals or not. But I'm just wondering, like I said, barely any of the homeless people wearing masks. You see this green structure here on the side? They call them green machines. Those are toilets. They have 9 of them in downtown Los Angeles. And in the beginning, the criminal element in Los Angeles took over and they were charging $1 to $5 for the homeless people to use the restroom.
Oh wow, that's.
But
just...
now I saw they put a whole bunch of porta potties on the side. You can see them right here in the back. And they also put like little hand sanitizer stations with water on a few of the corners.
It's just like, it's just so dirty, you know, there's like trash everywhere. It just, oh man. I mean, aren't there like street maintenance people that go around and pick up the trash and stuff like that? Or do they just not go here for fear of like safety and stuff?
They used to power wash all the sidewalks, but ever since COVID, they're not doing it regularly like they used to. So it's getting worse and worse. The trash is just overflowing everywhere.
This is crazy. Really eye-opening.
It's not even safe to park your car here. Sometimes metal rods or something else is sticking out and you're scratching your car. Even when you try to go to the meter, people come out and just ask you for money.
I mean, last night it got really cold already. You see it, but those people really have to live here. This is their house. This is where they live. Believe me, I'm not the first one doing a video about Skid Row. There's hundreds of videos on YouTube. Well, in the beginning, the problem was really easy to ignore, but now more and more people moving here downtown Los Angeles, and it got so big that you can't look away anymore.
Yeah, I would imagine that because so many people live there, there's like a critical mass. So more people from over the country are going to move to LA because it's warmer. Like if you're homeless in somewhere like Boston or, I don't know, Alaska, it's going to be hard to live out there on the streets. But LA, where it's nice and temperate, it's more doable.
All his possessions are cramped up in a shopping cart. They gave out a lot of vouchers to the homeless to stay in hotels because of the COVID situation. There's a lot of empty hotels, but there's still too many homeless people on the street here. How do you help them?
Sitting in the road, like on the zebra crossing.
Mentally ill people. This girl is just sitting down in the middle of a street and tying her shoe.
Drugs,
people just laying on the sidewalk, sleeping, hanging out. A couple years ago, they had a big thing on the news that hospitals dropped their patients right here on Skid Row. They were still wearing their hospital gown. They just dropped them off because they didn't know where else to put them.
Oh my God. You just dropped them on the street.
I see social workers down here trying to help the homeless, but it's not going to be easy to fix this problem. It's going to take years.
I don't know if it would take that long, honestly. If there was a real concentrated effort, like a real effort to tackle this, 6,000 people is a lot, but it's not an enormous number. I don't think it would take that long if they really were smart about what they were doing instead of just throwing money blindly. $100 million, if they really spent that much trying to tackle this problem, I think they would solve it. I think they would solve it within a couple of years. Unless I'm being really, really stupid right now, and feel free to tell me in the comments. The drug use is the biggest problem, but there's ways to tackle that.
And now Christmas is around the corner, and I don't think those people really care about anything. They just want to try to survive right here. It's like a jungle out here. You have to survive. There's shootings down here, there's crime every day, fights.
Sometimes people just laying on the concrete, you don't know if they're dead or not. I mean, probably sleeping, but nobody really cares.
I think we hadn't had any rain since 6 or 7 months. Just imagine it starts raining hard, really hard. You know, how's the ground in your tent gonna be dry? It's gonna be another big problem for those people. Wow, look at this. Mahatma Gandhi.
People that live in LA, like, what is being done? Do you think that what's being done by, I think it's Governor Newsom and whoever else is in his cabinet, like, is it efficient? Is it effective? Or do you think more could be done? Like, and what do you think about this situation in general? Like, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd really love to know from you know, people on the actually out there.
Those encampments are just one block from City Hall. See the building in the background? This is the City Hall of Los Angeles, downtown.
Looks like the news is doing a story here.
There is a lot of police present on Skid Row.
I had to record this. I told you before, I love fire hydrants.
I really like this area here. I've been here many times doing a photo shoot. This is the 7th Street Bridge, and people live underneath the bridge here too.
At least that provides some kind of shelter from the elements. But still, it's not somewhere that you'd want to live, under a bridge.
There's a fallen angel right here.
I'm just so shocked at this. Like, I'm kind of disappointed, to be honest. I can't believe this has been allowed to become so bad in a city that's so wealthy. Like, spread a bit of that money around, for crying out loud.
This is the worst poverty in a first world country.
Yeah, easily. Easily.
You can take some really good pictures of downtown. It looks nice with the sunset in the background.
So much mess. Like, why isn't it being cleared
Trains
up?
are still coming by on those tracks.
Well, Los Angeles is called the City of Angels. Maybe they're not angels anymore. Maybe they're like fallen angels now. Anyway, I do not recommend you guys to go down to Skid Row. There's nothing really to see, and especially if you film, you can get a lot of trouble. So leave that to German inventors, okay? Anyway, just want to let you know, thank you very much for watching.
Man,
and if you like
that was genuinely shocking for me. Like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. Like, that amount of homeless people spread over such a vast distance, the amount of dirt and trash on display. And, you know, I thought that LA was full of glitz, glamour. Like, I thought it was, you know, a place that people from Europe aspire to go to, that it was like, you know, a level above. And honestly, like, obviously I know that that isn't the whole of LA. There are parts of LA that are as I've described, but I just don't know why that's been allowed to grow and fester and become so big. Like, 6,000 homeless people is a lot, and that's probably a conservative estimate, a pessimistic estimate. It's probably a much bigger number than that. Something needs to be done about that. I really, really do think so. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.